This video is all about making houses in New York, your home for example, comfortable, healthy, safe, efficient, but mainly we'll discuss how to make them sustainable. Hi, I'm Ryan Puckett, and I'm here at my 1960s built 2,000 square foot home outside of Rochester, New York, that now runs off of 100% renewable electricity. And no, I don't have any solar panels, yet. If you live in New York and don't know what a heat pump is, how they work, or what incentives in terms of free money that you can take advantage of, I hope you will join me on a tour of my home. I'm a lead building analyst with Wise Home Energy, a DOE and EPA Home Performance with Energy Star award-winning contractor of the year, 3 years running. And I was asked by the Sustainable Homes Rochester campaign and Rochester People's Climate Coalition to make an educational video about next generation heating and cooling technologies. Again, we're talking about heat pumps, specifically air source heat pumps. And I'm going to do my best to try to convince you to never again install a conventional furnace, boiler, air conditioner, or even water heater in your home. So what is a heat pump? Simply put, a heat pump is a heating and cooling system that is able to capture and transfer heat from one place to another. The coolest part about heat pumps is they can be up to 400% efficient, and they don't use fossil fuels to operate. This means no gas leaks, no carbon monoxide, no worries. I should also mention that we're not talking about your grandpa's heat pump. Inverter technology now allows for cold climate rated heat pumps to work efficiently, even in Alaskan winters. So come on in and let's take a look. So this is the indoor unit of my heat pump system. I have 3 of these in my home. These units, typically referred to as heads, blow warm or cold air into my house. I chose to install wall units for a number of reasons, but these units come in all different shapes and sizes. They can be mounted near the floor or recessed up into a ceiling, for example. This type of air source heat pump is called a mini split or a ductless heat pump. The other option with air source heat pumps is to have them utilize ductwork. Often, centrally ducted air source heat pumps can take the place of a furnace or an air conditioner in your home. This way, you don't have to see any heads on the wall. Each house is different though, and you should consult a professional so that they can help you weigh the pros and cons of either installing a centrally ducted or a ductless mini split heat pump system. They call these types of heat pumps air source heat pumps because they source or pull the heat from the air. No digging a hole in your yard to put in water loops into the ground. In fact, the outdoor unit looks very similar and operates very similar to an air conditioner. Did I mention heat pump systems provide cooling as well as heating? Now, I will be the first to tell you that ground source heat pumps are more efficient than air source. But like everything, the pros and cons of each should be considered and weighed when deciding which system is right for you. I forgot to mention that this thing is on right now. It's blowing cooling into my house, and I'm not sure if you can hear it. I can, but it's very faint. The decibels, I believe, are around 35 decibels when operating at full capacity. So you will be able to hear it, but I've gotten used to it. It's quieter than my refrigerator when it's running. So this is what my outdoor unit looks like. It's on right now. I'm not sure if you can hear it over me. I'm sure you can hear me over it though. So this is what it looks like, very similar to a regular air conditioner. Believe it or not, this thing pulls enough heat from the outdoor air to heat my home even during the harshest of New York winters. If it's negative 15 degrees outside, my home will be a comfortable 68, 69, 70 degrees inside. Yes, it does cost more to operate the colder it is outside, but I will be paying about the same to heat my house with this system as I do with my 3-year-old high efficiency natural gas furnace. If you heat with oil, propane, or electric baseboard, you will save money, guaranteed, with an air source heat pump compared to those heating fuels. So when installing a heat pump, especially a ductless heat pump or mini split heat pump, you are going to see some things on the outside of the house, typically. And in the corner there, right there, you can see that gutter looking item, and that is what is running or connecting the outdoor unit to my indoor head. And inside that there's 2 copper lines running the refrigerant cycle through. There's also the electricity to power the indoor unit, and a condensation drain that's going to help drain out the humidity that these systems are going to pull out during the summertime when it's running in air conditioning mode. So you are going to have, most likely, some of these things on the outside of your home if you install a ductless or mini split heat pump system. So real quick, I did just want to point out that my system is operated with remotes. So I've got a remote for each one of my heads. They could be set up to operate off of one central thermostat. Ducted system is typically going to be run off one central thermostat. You can get Wi-Fi ones. There's endless combinations. Mine are run off remotes. I can program them if I want, but typically it's recommended to just turn these things on, set them to a constant temperature, and let them run. So people often want to know if they're going to save money by installing a heat pump system. And the answer is maybe. Maybe you won't. This dramatically oversimplified Excel sheet will give you an idea. Compared to a natural gas furnace, oil furnace, propane, or electric baseboard, and a heat pump, these are the estimated savings. So compared to a 90% efficient natural gas furnace, you're going to end up spending $9 more a year. But compared to an oil furnace, propane furnace, or electric baseboard, you're going to save a ton of money to heat your home each year by installing a heat pump system. Moreover, and probably more important, is the amount of emissions you're going to see. So again, a natural gas furnace puts out this many pounds of CO2 emissions a year on average. Again, this is ballparked. Compared to oil, propane, electric baseboard, you can see dramatically lower CO2 emissions by installing a heat pump system. And this isn't converting your electricity from, the standard electric that you would receive in New York State. You can see here that compared to just running off of electric baseboard, which is 100% efficient, this heat pump is 310% efficient, which gives you the difference in CO2 emissions just by switching from one system to another system, same fuel source. So heat pumps are the coolest way to heat and cool your home because they're super efficient and run off of electricity, not fossil fuels. This was a big incentive for me to install a heat pump system in my house. I want to be part of the solution to creating a sustainable climate. The other big incentive, however, are the state's incentives. Right now, New York is on a mission to reduce the state's greenhouse gas emissions. And buildings in New York State account for the largest portion of the state's emissions. So there's free money available out there for you to take advantage of to install these systems in your home. At Wise Home Energy, the minimum amount of incentive we have been able to secure for one of our clients to install a whole house heat pump system is $2,500. And that incentive usually brings the cost of these systems about down to the same prices you would pay for a conventional heating and cooling system. Wise Home Energy also partners with a number of other grant and pilot programs to help reduce the costs of these systems even further, especially for moderate to low-income New Yorkers. We owe a big thanks to the Rochester People's Climate Coalition and Sustainable Homes Rochester campaign, as well as Pathstone, for campaigning for additional grants to make these systems available to everybody in our area, regardless of income. We've actually installed a few of these systems at no cost to specific clients. Furthermore, NYSERDA offers low-interest, long-term financing that can often help reduce the costs of these things to less than what you pay each month for your cable bill. So my best advice to you is to start with a home performance assessment, also known as an energy audit. Have your home tested by a Building Performance Institute accredited contractor. These tests are often offered at no or minimal cost. Get more than one if you'd like. You wouldn't go to a doctor and ask for a knee replacement without having them assess your knee first, would you? The same concept is true with your home. During the assessment, your building analyst should sit down with you to discuss goals, concerns, potential issues with your home, and potential budgets for the improvements that you might want to make. They can also pre-qualify you and discuss a range of incentives available for the improvements you're considering. They then should measure and inspect your home, inside and out, including attics and crawl spaces, and document all of their findings. A series of tests can be conducted, including gas leak inspections, combustion appliance safety testing, infrared heat loss scans, and probably the most important test of all, a blower door envelope air leakage test. The blower door test can pinpoint major air, moisture, and contaminant leakage points. Ask your building analyst for this test, as New York State does not require it anymore for the standard energy audit. When the assessment is completed, you should receive a detailed report of the findings with recommended upgrades, estimated costs, and energy savings. This report will help you make an informed decision on what improvements make the most sense for your home. It's always wise to ensure that you have an energy-efficient home prior to investing in a new heating or cooling system. So finally, we have to talk about water heating if you're trying to get your home off of fossil fuels completely. Here you can see my old gas water heater, which I still have because I'm running some tests and I'm kind of weird, compared to my new heat pump water heater over on the left. There's some obvious differences, different sizes. There's also no pipe coming off of my heat pump water heater like there is with my gas old tank. There's also no gas line running to my heat pump water heater. There is, however, a fan, and that fan extracts heat from the air surrounding the tank and transfers it into the water, and that's how the water is heated. There's no fire, which means there's no carbon monoxide, and there's no issues with gas leaks. The fan, though, when it extracts heat from the area around it, it can cool the area a few degrees. So keep that in mind. But a benefit of these, while it's also cooling the air, it's pulling humidity out of the air, and that is a plus in most basements in our area. So some other things to note is these work best when installed in unconditioned basements. Right now, there is a $700 rebate for these systems, so definitely take advantage of that if you're going to install one of these yourself. So that concludes the tour of my home. I hope you've learned a little bit and will consider electrifying your home in the future. I'd be happy to consult with you if you'd like to reach out, or Wise Home Energy would be happy to provide you with assessment if you're in the Rochester area. Remember, buildings in New York State are the leading emitter of greenhouse gases for the state. If we want to improve the air we breathe and the environment for all of us, a great place to start is at your own house.